Every generation believes it will be spared. Every era convinces itself that the rules are finally fair, that the system has matured, that exploitation belongs to the past. And every time, history proves the opposite. Wealth does not disappear. It never has. It moves, quietly, systematically, from those who trust the system to those who understand it. What you are living through right now is not random inflation, not bad luck, not a temporary cycle. It is the largest wealth transfer in human history, and most people won't even realize it happened until it's already over. We are taught to think of wealth transfers as dramatic events, revolutions, wars, looting, confiscation, kings stealing from peasants, empires collapsing overnight. But modern wealth transfers are far more subtle. They don't come with burning cities or marching armies. They arrive through policy changes, interest rates, asset inflation, currency dilution, and debt structures so complex that most people never see the knife until it's already deep. The modern wealth transfer doesn't take your money directly. It makes your money worth less. It doesn't seize your property. It prices you out of it. It doesn't enslave you with chains. It binds you with debt. And it doesn't announce itself as theft. It sells itself as stability. To understand what is happening now, you have to understand a simple truth history keeps repeating. Those closest to the money printer always win. Those furthest from it always lose. This is not a theory. It is a pattern older than capitalism itself. In ancient Rome, the Republic once used silver coins with real value. Over time, emperors discovered they could fund wars, palaces, and political loyalty not by raising taxes, but by quietly reducing the silver content of the coins. At first, no one noticed. The coins looked the same. They felt the same. They spent the same. But over decades, the silver disappeared. Prices rose. Soldiers demanded more pay. Merchants raised prices. Savings evaporated. The state survived longer. The people became poorer. The elite converted political power into real assets, land, slaves, influence. Rome did not collapse because people were lazy. It collapsed because money was quietly weaponized. Fast forward to medieval Europe. Feudal lords owned land, peasants worked it. But after the Black Death wiped out nearly half the population, labor became scarce. Suddenly, workers had leverage. Wages rose, land became cheap, power shifted. For a brief moment, wealth moved upward. Then institutions adjusted. Laws were rewritten, wages were capped, mobility restricted, the transfer reversed. The lesson is uncomfortable but consistent. When wealth moves in the wrong direction, systems change to push it back. The industrial age introduced banks as the new gatekeepers of power. Money stopped being metal and became credit. Whoever controlled credit controlled growth. When banking expanded faster than regulation, crash followed. In 1929, markets collapsed. Millions lost jobs, savings, and homes. But here is the part most people forget. The crash didn't destroy wealth, it concentrated it. Those with cash bought assets for pennies. Those with debt lost everything. The Great Depression didn't make everyone poor, it reshuffled ownership. That same mechanism is happening again, just on a far larger scale. In 2008, the global financial system nearly collapsed under the weight of debt. Banks had gambled with money they didn't have. When the baits failed, governments stepped in. Trillions were created overnight. Not to save people, to save institutions. Homeowners were foreclosed. Workers were laid off. Wages stagnated. But banks were rescued. Asset prices recovered quickly. Stock markets soared. The message was clear. Losses are socialized. Gains are privatized. That was not the end of the story. It was the rehearsal. In 2020, the world shut down. Economies froze. Governments panicked, and money printing went from extreme to historic. More currency was created in a few years than in entire generations before. Again, this was framed as rescue, stimulus, support, stability, but the effect was predictable. Inflation surged, not evenly. Essentials rose fastest. Food, energy, housing, things people cannot avoid. Meanwhile, asset prices exploded. Stocks, real estate, private equity. Those who owned assets saw their wealth grow dramatically. Those who lived on wages fell behind. This is the core of the modern wealth transfer. Inflation is not just rising prices. It is a silent tax on those who hold currency instead of assets. When money is created, it enters the system through specific channels: banks, financial markets, governments, corporations. By the time it reaches wages, prices have already adjusted. This is called the Cantillon effect, and it has never failed. Early recipients benefit, late recipients pay. Saving money used to be virtuous. It meant discipline, patience, security. Today, saving in currency is surrender. Interest rates rarely beat inflation. Your bank balance looks stable while its purchasing power quietly drains away. You are told to be responsible while your money works against you. Meanwhile, those with access to leverage borrow at low rates, buy appreciating assets, and let inflation erase their debt over time. Debt is no longer a burden for the powerful. It is a weapon. Governments run perpetual deficits. Corporations issue cheap debt to buy back their own stock. Wealthy individuals borrow against assets to avoid taxes. Inflation reduces the real value of what they owe. For them, debt is productive. For everyone else, it is survival: mortgages, student loans, credit cards, auto loans, debt that finances consumption, not ownership. Debt that grows faster than income. This is how wealth transfers upward without a single law explicitly stealing from you. Look at housing. For decades, it was sold as the safest path to stability. Work hard, save, buy a home. Today, housing prices have detached from wages entirely. Institutional investors buy entire neighborhoods. Interest rates lock out first-time buyers. Rent rises faster than pay. Homeownership declines. Equity concentrates. You are not failing to keep up. The rules changed. Look at pensions, once guaranteed, now underfunded. Replaced with self-managed accounts tied to volatile markets. Risk shifted from institutions to individuals. If markets rise, you're lucky. If they crash, it's your responsibility. Again, losses move downward. Control stays at the top. Look at currencies. Fiat money is backed by trust. Trust in governments. Trust in central banks. Trust that discipline will return someday, but history shows discipline never returns voluntarily. Every system eventually chooses debasement over collapse. Inflation over default. Quiet theft over open failure. This is not cynicism, it is precedent. From Weimar Germany to modern Argentina, from post-war Britain to present-day Lebanon, currency collapse always follows the same script. Excess debt, political pressure, money printing, loss of confidence. Capital flight. The wealthy move first. They diversify, they hedge, they exit. Everyone else is told to stay calm. The modern version is more sophisticated. Capital doesn't flee physically. It shifts digitally. Offshore accounts, hard assets, alternative stores of value. Meanwhile, average citizens are trapped in domestic currencies, domestic wages, domestic debts. When adjustment comes, it hits them hardest. This is why inequality explodes during crises, not because the rich are smarter, but because the system is built to protect capital, not labor. Capital is mobile, labor is not, and this brings us to the present moment. Right now, global debt is higher than at any point in history. Governments, corporations, households, all leveraged. Central banks claim they can manage it. Control inflation, engineer soft landings. But the margin for error is gone. Rates rise, and debt collapses. Rates fall, and currencies erode. There is no painless path forward. Every option transfers wealth. The only question is from whom to whom. You are told inflation is temporary, that wages will catch up, that markets will stabilize. But look at the data. Asset ownership is more concentrated than ever. Productivity gains flow upward. Costs flow downward. The middle class shrinks. This is not a glitch. It is the outcome. The greatest wealth transfer in history is not a single event. It is a slow-motion process, a decade-long extraction. And it rewards very specific behaviors. Those who own assets benefit. Those who rely on wages suffer. Those who understand monetary systems adapt. Those who trust narratives fall behind. Those who stay liquid during crash acquire wealth. Those who stay fully invested in promises lose purchasing power. History shows that every major wealth transfer creates two groups: those who ask why it's happening, and those who ask how to position themselves. During the Great Depression, families with cash bought farmland and businesses. During post-war inflation, debtors benefited while savers were destroyed. During the 1970s, real assets outperformed currency. After 2008, investors who bought when fear was highest were rewarded for a generation. After 2020, the same pattern repeated at an even larger scale. The uncomfortable truth is that crises do not flatten society. They reorder it, and this is where most people misunderstand wealth. Wealth is not money. Money is a claim. Wealth is control over resources, production, and future cash flows. Money can be created. Wealth must be built or acquired. When systems shake, claims are questioned, control remains. This is why the wealthy focus on ownership, businesses, land, intellectual property, infrastructure, not bank balances, not salaries, not promises, and this is why the middle class feels squeezed from both sides. Inflation eats savings, automation pressures wages. Taxes rise, debt grows, opportunity narrows, it feels personal. But it isn't, it's structural. The system rewards those who can think long-term while acting early, those who understand cycles, those who accept that stability is temporary and plan accordingly. This does not mean panic, it means awareness. History does not punish optimism, it punishes ignorance. The greatest wealth transfer in history is not coming, it is already underway. It is happening through interest rates, inflation, asset pricing, and debt structures most people never question. And it will not reverse because enough people complain. It will reverse only when the system breaks or resets. Until then, the incentives are clear. Every era leaves clues. Rome debased, France inflated, America financialized. Each time, those who adapted survived. Those who trusted permanence were wiped out. The real divide today is not left versus right, rich versus poor. It is system-aware versus system-dependent. One group understands that money is a tool, not a store of truth. The other believes numbers on a screen represent safety. History has already decided who wins in that conflict. The only question left is which side you're on.